back home. Now we see some Vulture harass here. Now that is, you just can't have that happen. I mean, Type B doesn't have speed for his Lings yet. His Lings are therefore not very effective. What is that? 2 kills now. He's going to get some more kills for that Vulture. This is not looking good for Type B. 3 down. We're going to see how many more we can get. Now, just so you guys know, with Vultures, when you micro them, you don't actually press Patrol on the Vulture. You do press Patrol behind you as you're moving forward, and then, or just in any location, and then you can take out Lings. 4 kills now for the Vulture. We're going to see if we, oh, alright, and we do see the Mutalisk popping out. But Fantasy, just showing how good he is with 1 unit. He's able to save his SCV, didn't lose his original scouting SCV, saw the entire build, came in with a Vulture, got 4 drone kills, which is fantastic. His timing is perfect on the engineering bay. He's going to have his turrets up right in time from when these Mutalisks pop over here. And he's also smartly getting a bunker because he's going to try to get some Marines in there to see if he can fend this off. And we have Fantasy build, Vulture harass to...
Well, I wouldn't call it a fantasy build just because he got a Valkyrie.
There's no drop ship.
But it is interesting that we did see a Valkyrie out, and he has done a lot better job than what Flash had done. And I think the reason why he did a better job is because he actually opened up more of a static medic marine build. So now he is going to have a decent medic marine force and turrets. And the fact just that he scouted exactly what Type B was doing. He knew that a 2-hatch was coming, so he knew he had to prepare for mutas. So it's really worked out towards Fantasy, and if Type B doesn't do a lot of damage here, it looks like he's going after the Valkyrie. Valkyrie does go down, so nice snipe by Type B. The second Valkyrie's out. Ooh, Fantasy's got to be careful to protect that Valkyrie. It looks like Type B's just going to run away. But if Type B doesn't do a lot of damage here, then Fantasy's going to be very far ahead with his 2 bases, and he's just going to be able to push out. We have yet to see if he's really going to go back to Medic Marine, like build some more barracks, or if he's going to start going mech. He really hasn't chosen yet. Right now, he just has a lot of SCVs and a lot of defense, a lot of turrets, which is exactly what he needs right now in the early game. I mean, as a Terran player, you just got to survive the beginning. And it looks like there are the barracks, so we are going to see probably more Medic Marines coming out. And Fantasy, you know, he's known for really interesting builds. You know, going part Medic Marine and then switching back, you know, to mech or vice versa. And a lot of people have criticized him for this. He's actually only 51% against Zerg, which is his worst matchup. But that's more against players like Jadong, you know, Luxury, players like that. So he definitely, I think, has the skills to do it, but his Zerg vs. Terran is questioned. It looks like a lot of Scourge coming in, but not doing a good job microing them, and it looks like Fantasy doing a fantastic job with his Valkyries, microing around his turrets. You can see Type B is not happy that he just lost all those Scourge, and now these Mutalisks might even go down too. Ooh, that's going to hurt a lot of Mutalisks, taking a lot of splash damage from those Valkyries.
Looking fantastic. There's one pet peeve of mine. It's Valkyries that don't attack, and they just run away, and then they get killed because they weren't attacking, rather than attacking and getting killed, but actually getting some hits off. So we're seeing a little of that, but we're also, wow, 3 Valkyries out for Fantasy. Fantasy is hardcore. And I call it a Fantasy build, obviously, because Fantasy is making Valkyries, and even though the technical Fantasy build, just for you guys that don't know, is Vultures and dropship harassment into Valkyries after that. But he's holding his own, and I can tell you guys, in the past, when we see a Terran win against Zerg, like when Jadong, oh god, I'm not gonna try to call it, I can't remember. The last time I saw Jadong lose to a Terran, it is when this happened, is because you can't get anything done, you can't get any harassment done with your Mutalisk, which is like the main point you make them. And then the Terran just expands. Terrans obviously do very well off of a two base economy. And are able to just kind of keep things trucking. And now we are seeing some harassment going on here. Now this is not good. A big medical marine force. I'm really surprised Fantasy isn't using that force to actually try to counter the Mutalisks more directly here. I'm waiting for Fantasy to move out here in a moment. Once he gets enough medics and marines to where he has a decent enough force back at home.
Look at that rally point. What is Type B doing? He's got drones rallied out there. You can just see that Type B is falling apart a little bit. Fantasy's going to be moving out any second here. This is kind of Type B's last hurrah with his Mutalisks. He's going to have to back up pretty soon.
Right.
Now, one thing that's going to be critical is whether Fantasy has scanned that base up in the top left at 11 o'clock position. He probably has. If he goes straight up there, I think that's going to be game for Type B if he loses that expansion. Yeah, and Valkyrie's just doing a ton of damage here.
They just keep hitting, man. They just keep hitting. That's the thing with Valkyries. Even if they shoot and you try to run away, those missiles just keep coming on top of you. Look at that. Oh my gosh, Type B's just, I mean, he managed to take out 1 Valkyrie, but look at the range on that. It's still hitting them as they run away. And Valkyries, they do tons and tons of splash damage. They are the anti-Mutalisk, pretty much. In fact, I wonder how you would play StarCraft before Brood War came out. online against a big pack of Mutalisks like that. I guess you just have to rely on science vessels to take them out. Anyways, we're going to see the first-person view of Fantasy here. Fantasy obviously playing very, very well, very fast. He is going to go right for the secondary there. Now there is a huge amount of Mutalisks coming out. Fantasy losing one of his Valkyries. GG already.
GG coming from Type B. His Sunkens were even late. Not only did he forget the Sunken in the beginning of the game and let the Vulture through, he didn't even put his Sunkens down fast enough when the Medic Marine Force came in. There was just no way, with all those Medic Marines, without any Sunkens, that he would have held. You know, if he would have had 5 Sunkens there and that Mutalisk Force, maybe after the Mutalisks were wiped out by Valkyries, he could have still cleaned up the Marines. But Fantasy just, you know, being able to hold out that long, if you can hold out against the Mutal Harass, then there's not a lot the Zerg player can do at that point. I think it was just kind of an all-in thing that Type B did, and honestly, I mean, Fantasy fast expanded. It couldn't really have been any better for Type B unless Fantasy would have mech'd. That pretty much would have been the only thing that really would have hurt Fantasy. But he actually went against my recommendation on this map and didn't mech, and it really helped him out.
Good.
So that worked out in his favor.
I don't see Fantasy do as much Medic Marine. Obviously, he does more than Flash, who just pretty much mechs constantly. I mean, both of them have very good Medic Marine, as you saw there. Well, I guess you couldn't really see Fantasy's good Medic Marine because he's playing against Type B, who I think he just overcommitted with Mutalisks. I mean, once you see 3 Valkyries out, and they're 3 Fantasy Valkyries, along with Medic Marine Forces, I say you just cut it off and switch to something, you know, a little more useful like Lurkers. But anyways, Fantasy won that one. He is now 2-0, and Type B is still sitting comfortably at 1-1. He is now tied with Stork as far as the record goes. And I guess we're just going to move on to Group C here. We're going to have Gogo versus Zero.